What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dice. Best TV series of 2021. We had a lot to unpack as far as so many shows coming out because of COVID last year and the pandemic that they had to drop a lot of series within a span of a couple of months. Like I felt like from June and July, I've been getting a series. Like it's so many shows. But here is my personal top 10. And as I say, it's my personal because it's a lot of TV shows that I did not watch that I should. But post a comment down below. Let me know if I should watch what show that you are watching that should make this list. Let's get started. Number 10, City on a Hill. I feel like I caught onto this extremely late. I just never forget when I was in a hotel, when I was traveling with my old job. I was in Monterey in the Marriott, and I was like, I'm stuck in this hotel with just TV. And they had Showtime. I was like, let me start watching something on Showtime. I remember I seen like a quick glimpse, like I think on Instagram about City on the Hill, and I'm like, oh, let me check it out. Started watching the first episode, and I was like, golly, I'm hooked. I had to get a whole Showtime subscription just to watch City on a Hill, and it led me to so many other things in Showtime, which we'll get to in a minute. But Jackie Rohr, Kevin Bacon as Jackie Rohr, definitely needs some type of Screen Actors Guild as man. Audrey Hodge, as DeQuincy. I need more. It's just Boston in the 90s, how corrupt it was, and just trying to rid of some of the crime in Boston. I loved every bit of it. I started with season 1. This is going off into season 2. And I was like, man, we binge watched it. Me and the wife binge watched all of it. It was so good. That's what led us to getting a Showtime subscription. I was here for it. Number 9, Dopesick. Man, Michael Keaton really bodied that role as Dr. Finnick and Dopesick, and just highlighting the opioid crisis as far as Oxycontin and how addicting and strong oxys were. I remember just being from Baton Rouge, like oxys really was hitting like around 07, 08, 09. Everybody I knew was on pills, like pills. I was like, forget the weed, forget the cocaine. People was on pills, like oxys, roxys. They were just making song after song about, popping bars, tabs, and, it was so many pills. And it was just the hype of the opioid crisis was so strong, and just watching this, seeing how strong it was, I had no idea, and just seeing the coldness between with Purdue Pharma, the Sackler family, and I'm just seeing recently how the judge rescinded their like $4 billion deal just to try to make them more accountable of what's going on. And I really feel like it was because of Dopesick that had people really like, oh my gosh, I did not know how deep it was. So shout out to Dopesick. It was such a thrill ride. I almost felt like I was hooked on it, just seeing how little Betsy was really hooked on these drugs. Even with Dr. Finnick, I was telling myself, I'm like, you've seen how this drug has a stronghold, and even till this day, that you are not right after taking so much of that it just leads you down a rabbit hole. I loved it. Number 8, Narcos Mexico. And I feel like this last season of Narcos Mexico really highlighted just how Chapo got into power, seeing Amado Figueroa just, go into what he was trying to do. But I felt like what he was trying to do as far as how he wanted to establish his cartel is basically how the cartels ran today. But you saw Chapo's rise in this and highlighted the ongoing war between Sinaloa and Tijuana with the Felix brothers, and just seeing how they were just going back and forth. It just created so much of a rift, and just highlighting back from season 2 with Felix Gallardo was saying, like, now you let the animals free, which you've seen all the stuff going on in Mexico at that time is still predominantly going on right now because of what was going on back then, because this was the 90s, all the way, it's probably spanning up to the late 90s, early 2000s, and I would love to see one more season of just the Chapo, reign, not the rise, but the reign of Chapo, and also highlighting the Gulf Coast cartel, if you will, because like I said, it was just so entertaining. Also, you had a side bit of highlighting of so many missing women going in that area of Tijuana, just seeing how so much stuff was going on at that time that's still going on till this day. So although with the cartel is going on, you also have like a serial killer that's just killing women out there that's still going on till this day. And that's why I was telling myself the struggles that's going down in Mexico, man, is crazy. But entertaining. I really loved it. Number 7, Raising Kanan. Stars really introduced another book of power, where I'm not really watching the book of Ghost because, with Michael Rainey, I just really wanted Omari Scandra to just reprise his role as Ghost. But fresh look at just Kanan and how he's becoming of age of his story, because how brutally ruthless Kanan was. You got to see how and why he was, So I really love this because it's a coming of age story of Kanan rising into the drug game, or how his mom runs it, his uncle. It's basically a family business, and you seeing how ruthless it gets, and you seeing just how a kid is involved in the drug game. Everybody was really magnanimous in this, like, magnetic performance for Patricia. I forgot her name at the top of my head. And you just seen as Raquel Rock, she just really was holding it down. And Joey Badass, man, as Unique, man, he was killing that. Now, like, you could tell the ruthless, but you could just tell like the flashiness of a New York drug dealer in full force. I really, really enjoyed this series because I was like, oh my gosh, 50 really is knocking it out the park when it comes to Starz series. Number 6, just flowing right into from Raising Kanan, we got BMF. We got the Black Mafia family. We got Big Meech and his brother Southwest T, Terry, Flannery, the Flannery brothers. And just seeing the coming of age story with Big Meech and how the rise from the 50 Boys to the Black Mafia family. Just highlighting the story of Big Meech, who is right now impacting culture, with Rick Ross's famous song with BMF is, I think I'm Big Meech. Like, and you just get to hear his reign and his rise on how silver tongue he was, which got his way, on top of being really, really magnetic as a force to be reckoned with in the Detroit drug game in the 80s. You seeing their rise, and you just seeing all the obstacles he has to go through, everything that he was doing. He was young doing it. Like, this man was young, just him and his brother, and just how he was trying to move around and try to come up, and was like, man, we have a knack for this. We have a talent for this. We're really good at this. So let's get it done. And also having a menacing Lamar as the antagonist in this series and in this season, just menace. Like, you just an old school 80s gangster. And I loved every bit of it. We were all watching this every Sunday. I was here for it. Number 5, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I just was telling myself, as Disney was rolling out all of the Marvel TV series, we didn't know how this was going to be. Even the actors. Anthony Mackie was definitely saying the same thing, like, I don't know, a TV series, I don't know. But I loved how they rolled this out. I loved how their character build from these TV series was really, really like, oh my gosh, I am here for this. I was here for it. Now we're getting to see the Falcon turn into the new Captain America. And I was like, oh my gosh. I love the highlighting of Isaiah Bradley as a black Captain America. And just now that you're having just that mantle of Captain America. Everybody has to get used to you being black. So that's why I loved it personally for me, because it's a story behind the story, if that makes sense. And I was here for it. 6 episodes we got, but I was still telling myself so much they packed in, so much that we got, and I was here for it. Number 4, WandaVision. Slow burn in the beginning, very slow burn, but I love the ode to all the TV series because of understanding what Wanda was watching at that time, and then seeing what she done. I was like, oh. Then at the end, the season finale, you thought somebody was going to really come in like Doctor Strange or somebody, but no, it just really seeing Wanda Maximoff becoming the Scarlet Witch. That was something to behold. I feel like the last 2 episodes, even with Agatha Harkness, you was like, okay, everyone was, if you was watching New Rock Stars with Evan Voss, we was riding that Mephisto wave for like a whole couple months. Like, it's Mephisto's coming, but it just turns out it's Agatha all along. Like, and she's like, ha, 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 ha. And I was like, this is campy, but it's really fun the way they did it. And it still has me saying, just another case of the Mondays, am I right? And I was just telling myself, I love how Elizabeth Olsen really becomes from Wanda Maximoff to the Scarlet Witch. It's basically a coming-of-age story with herself, because when we saw her in Age of Ultron, she was still like a teenager. Now she's becoming a woman, and you're definitely, as we just got to see the Doctor Strange teaser trailer for Multiverse of Madness, Wanda's coming. Scarlet Witch is here, and Doctor Strange confides in her, and she's going to be that rogue enemy / anti-hero, kind of like Phoenix in the X-Men Dark Phoenix saga. We're definitely getting that with the Scarlet Witch, and I was here for it. Number 3, Loki. And I really enjoyed Loki. Out of all the series, I was telling myself Loki was, I was like, yeah, this is definitely going to be one of my top. And showing what happened from right after Endgame, when they were trying to put the Tesseract back, and that actual Loki just moved it. So it picks up from there, and we got the introduction to the multiverse. And we got our first introduction as Jonathan Majors playing Kang the Conqueror. Like, I had to rewatch the episode so many times because I still couldn't believe it. Like, this is a major spoiler going into the next phase of Marvel, and they just threw it into Loki. That's how you know I feel like the introduction of Kang the Conqueror is going to be totally crazy, because you're about to see so many different variants, and now we got everyone saying variant. And I was telling myself that's going to be a pop culture word as variant. I was like, okay, we're on to something here. And I loved every bit of it, of Loki, because it's expanding the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we're about to get a full wide range of the multiverse, which is going to introduce so many different Marvel characters. And I'm just ecstatic to say that what a time to be alive watching all of this come to the fold on actual TV. Number 2, just when I thought Loki was going to be my favorite TV series of this year, here comes Hawkeye. I didn't have high expectations for Hawkeye either. I did not have high expectations. I was like, I love Clint Barton. I love Jeremy, Jesus Christ, I'm about to call him Jeremy Irons. But Jeremy Renner, I love him as an actor, and I was telling myself, Hawkeye and Black Widow, when it comes to the Avengers, I didn't, because they didn't have superpowers, people kind of didn't pay attention to them because they were basically B superheroes. But here comes Hawkeye highlighting and giving their flowers to Hawkeye, and introducing Kate Bishop as well, but just introducing Hawkeye as, man, you're a superhero that steeped in realism, like something that we can all achieve because you're really gifted with a bow and arrow. And that's what just spawned Kate Bishop. She just was like, and you seen from her point of view when she was in New York, she's actually seeing that 2012 Hawkeye just battling on top, and did the iconic arrow shot as he's jumping down, but you got to see it from her view. You just seen him dropping down, shooting the arrow, and then going into the building. And as a kid, you see something like that in real life, you're like, oh my gosh, like that's really James Bond in real life. So I understand why she wanted to be that. And then the big reveal, as we got Charlie Cox's Daredevil and Spider-Man No Way Home, we got Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk Kingpin back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that right there became, I was like, oh my gosh, we are so on to so much things. It's not even funny, because just how I kept saying when I was reacting to Spider-Man No Way Home and reacting to these different Marvel, that this is going to be the first time that we actually get to see TV series characters go into the big screen and vice versa. So you're going to get to see like a Spider-Man may jump down into an episode of, you know, somewhere where it's just with just a Kingpin, and vice versa. You know, the Kingpin may be in the next Spider-Man 4. So that's why I tell myself this is the introduction to where we may get Daredevil back, which I want Daredevil, and I want Punisher. You know, Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and Luke Cage, only if they're done right, which I feel like they can be done right in Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I was telling myself just the endless possibilities what they're going to be doing with this. But most of all, I'm just so happy to see Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk, because he bodied it. The realism, just the menace, the how the overlay of how big he is, how the strongness. So I'm telling myself, you know, I was so happy to get him back. Although he was a menace in Daredevil, you've seen him extra stronger here. So that leaves you to believe he had to take probably a super soldier serum for him to just rip open a door handle and just really be the real Kingpin, how strong he is. So that's why I tell myself the endless possibilities. I am so here for this. Hawkeye really brought it all the way home for me as far as the top Marvel TV series, which I really ran through all of them because all of them were really great as far as really good TV. So before I get to number one, let's do the honorable mentions. And no particular order, we're just saying. So as number 5, as far as the honorable mention, WuTang American Saga Season 2. I really love the coming of age of the actual WuTang Clan and just how they were really leading up to really becoming WuTang. They still had a lot of tie-ins. A lot of people were really upset with RZA and how with the character Ashton Saunders, he doesn't need to have that voice, but he really embodied RZA, but just leave that voice out. It really took people out of the series. And also with Inspector Deck, because he looked so old when Inspector Deck was really like one of the youngest in Wu-Tang, kind of took us out. But I still loved how they were building up from Ohio, moving back to New York, and seeing what everyone was doing when RZA got back. And he was like, man, we got to get this music thing popping, to eventually making Enter the 36 Chambers, the Wu-Tang classic album. And you just seen the musical inspiration behind some of the music. I wish they would have highlighted a lot more on Cream, but I don't care. I was still telling myself I was thoroughly enjoyed. I binge watched it. I was like, I need to binge watch the whole thing, and I was thoroughly entertained. I can't wait to see what season 3 has to bring, because now you're getting to see the rift between ODB and how he was with his deal, and you got to see, I feel like the business side of with them, as that's what made him a real rift between all of them. And it still goes on to this day, but that's why I still tell myself with the Wu-Tang property that RZA has, Wu-Tang can really tell their story, and RZA can really tell the story of what really happened. So that's why I'm here for this. I would say Wu-Tang American Saga / Billions, because like I said, I got Showtime and I really start going into Billions, and Billions, oh my freaking gosh, was Bobby Axelrod. Man, why I'm upset because of what people are saying. I haven't watched season 5 yet, but when they're saying that, the guy who plays Bobby Axelrod, but every time if I see him in public, he's Bobby Axelrod. How he walked away after season 5, and now it's with Michael Prince, I believe, in season 6. And it's like, no Bobby Axelrod, no Billions. I'm sorry. Bobby Axelrod is formidable, badass. He's everything as far as he's intimidating because he's just what he would do to get that knowledge and to have that overlay. Like, he's not the typical billionaire. So that's why I was telling myself I love it. Even with Chuck, with Paul Giamatti's Chuck, and with Wendy, man, this is just a really brilliant TV series to watch. From season 1 to season 5, you're going to love it. Watch it. Number 4, honorable mention, is Impeachment. I really feel like girl really did her thing as Monica Lewinsky, seeing the eccentric side, the vulnerability side of Monica Lewinsky, the naive side of Monica Lewinsky of messing with the president. And Clive Owen had a convincing Clinton just with his voice. But we got to really see the full scale of what happened with the Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton scandal. Like, from start to finish, how it all ensued with Linda Tripp and Sarah Paulson killing it as usual as Linda Tripp. And just seeing everything wrapped around this really took a big chunk of our 90s. And you just got to see the dawn of the internet when they put the deposition, I think the Michael Starr deposition, and how vulgar what happened and the details. Like, he put it on the internet, and I was like, wow, I didn't know all that. So that's why I kept telling myself, I'm like, yeah, it was something to behold, to really hone in and watch. I was here for it. Number 3, Colin and Black and White. There was something I didn't want to watch. Not particular fan of Colin Kaepernick, but I understand what he's doing, and I love that. I love the purpose. With Ava DuVernay, coming as doing this, as for helming this as director, man, highlighting, it was such a beautiful thing to watch, because understanding what young Black kids go through, and as being adopted, and seeing how white people or just every other race are just blind ignorant to the fact of what Black kids go through. And especially as a biracial kid, he's trying to tap into his Black side because he's around white people, which is, totally fine. As you see how white people live, or any other race other than Black, you see that they just live the way they live. But when you see how Black people have to live, it's truly an eye-opener. Because the color of your skin, you're already judged before you even walk in the door. You may not even be on half the crap that, that's quote unquote supposed to be, because you're Black, you're supposed to be this way. Like, no, Black people come just all shapes and colors, shapes and sizes, and all kinds of gestures, just like any other race. But people look at it, because you're Black, don't do that, don't do this, why are you doing that? Especially when he was trying to get his hair braided, oh my God, you're like a thug. And it was so many things. And then you seeing his mom and his foster mom and his dad be just naive and ignorant, just blatant ignorant to the whole ideal of what he was going through. And you can tell he struggled with his Black side for so long. And with me having a biracial kid, it's my job and my duty to show them that Black side, to say that you're okay. Don't let anybody else from any other race knock you down because you are who you are. Nah, they are who they are because that's them. You are who you are because that's you. And trying to have everyone understand that, I feel like everyone should sit down and watch this, because it is truly something to really hone in on. And we can still have a conversation spawning from this. That's why I really love this. So number 2 is You, season 3. I love Joe. I love Love. And Baby Henry into the tenfold, and just how Joe and Love are trying to live that typical suburbia, family, but finding out they just really couldn't do it. And Joe with some of his insecurities, and Love with her insecurities, go on a murderous killing spree. Now, season 1 and season 2 was really believable, but season 3 was like, okay, you guys are killing a whole lot. This wouldn't have happened. Like, nah. There would have been like, how many bodies piling up since you guys moved in? They would have been caught you guys. But I just love to see it because it was so entertaining. I really miss Joe. I really miss how Joe looks and thinks of people, how he can just very cold calculating moves. I loved every bit of it and I missed it. And just the build up to the end of season 3, I was like, okay, yeah, we're definitely getting to season 4 for sure. I loved it. Number 1 of honorable mentions, which should kind of really be in my top 10 or top 20, top 15, whatever, is What If. What If it was the cartoon of Marvel Cinematic Universe of what if in these multiverses. So you got the Watcher, who's basically the watcher of all these multiverses, never interferes because that's just how time is supposed to. I feel like he's part of a celestial and just have powers to do so. And you got some of these episodes where you had Captain British, was Peggy. What if Peggy would took the serum instead of Steve Rogers? So you got that. So it was these character tropes of what if this was going to happen in an alternate reality or alternate universe. And the thing that stuck out the most was the evil Doctor Strange, because that was to me the highlight of What If. And you had the evil Doctor Strange because Christine died. He goes into comatose with different intentions other than to save his hands. He's trying to save his love interest, which brings a darker undertone to Stephen Strange, and it goes further into madness. And he needed that Doctor Strange, that Doctor Strange needed to be stopped, because now you have a what if Ultron won. Ultron eventually starts finding a new purpose and starts taking over different universes where he has to battle it out with the Watcher, because he finally seen the Watcher, which I feel like Doctor Strange seen him as well. But Ultron seen it, then you just got to see what Ultron looked like, even with Galactus. Like, you saw, like, oh shit, that's Galactus. Like, that was just mind-blowing within itself. And I was telling myself, damn, they're getting another season 2 of What If, and they're getting Marvel Zombies, which I cared for, but not really, because I felt like it was part of a bigger plot and a bigger story. But nevertheless, I was really, really here for it. So that was my honorable mention. So, of course, number 1 as far as TV shows, TV series of 2021 is number 1, Squid Games. Squid Games took us by storm. I was really on Twitter when people was just like, man, if you guys have not watched Squid Games, I'm like, I seen it on Netflix, and I'm like, oh yeah, they had the international TV series, and I was kind of like, okay, yeah. But when I watched it, holy shit, it took the world by storm. It took the world by storm. This is the number 1 content coming out of Netflix. $1 billion. They took it up a whole new notch. It was gritty. It was realistic. It was like a dystopian type of future. Realist, man. The graphic nature behind this, the graphic violence. We were like, what the hell? Like, when people were starting seeing red light, green light, I started seeing that meme pop up everywhere. But just seeing these simple childlike games turn into life or death situations because you're trying to win a jackpot, it was just mind-boggling. Like, binge-worthy, binge-watching. We all watched it. I was like, anxiety reminds me of Euphoria. My palms are sweating each and every episode watching them go through what they had to go through, because the anxiety was through the roof. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. So, if you guys enjoyed my personal best of top TV series or top TV shows of 2021, if you guys think I missed any TV series, or what do you guys recommend, please post a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if my list was wrong. If you guys agree with my list, let me know. So, if you guys enjoy my review of all these TV series, subscribe to my channel. Post a comment down below and let me know. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. It's your boy, D Dyson. Peace.